So in case you don't know this about me, I really love the X-Men franchise. Sure, there are some low points, but this was one of the first superhero movie franchises I ever got into, and I love a lot of these films. Plus, I've been following these movies for a while now. Wolverine in particular has also always been my favorite X-Men, and one of my favorite movie characters of all time. So with an emotional and R-rated send-off to this character on the horizon, I was pretty excited. So, now that Logan has finally arrived, let's talk about it.
I will make you hurt.
And as I do for most big movies, I'm going to go no spoilers for the first part of this, and then spoilers later on. You'll get plenty of warning, so don't worry. So I'd heard a ton of great things about this film going into it, so I was trying to keep my expectations at bay so I wouldn't be disappointed. However, I'm not very good at keeping my expectations at bay, and I ended up going into this super excited. And this movie actually exceeded my expectations. I loved Logan. This is one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen. Firstly, this has maybe the best performances I've ever seen in a superhero film. Hugh Jackman, I think I can say, is officially my favorite superhero movie casting choice now. It's been tied between him and Robert Downey Jr. and Heath Ledger and a few others for a while now, but at the moment, I think I'm gonna have to give him the edge. I've loved him as this character in every single movie I've seen him in, yes, even the terrible one, and this is somehow his best performance to date. He's broken down, extremely damaged, and not taking anything from anybody. Honestly, I know it's a little premature to say this, but this performance deserves an Oscar nomination. Patrick Stewart is just as good, and again, he was one of the best superhero movie casting choices ever. He's been great in all the other films, but again, seeing him completely just broken in half here is heartbreaking, and the performance is phenomenal. Amazing performances from these two. Now the big new addition to this is Daphne Keane as Laura, or X-23, and she is great. Putting a child actor as one of the main three leads in this very kind of serious movie could have ended horribly, but this girl totally carries it. Her and/or her stunt double do excellent work in the action scenes, and overall, I just say, expect to see this girl in a ton more stuff going forward. The entire rest of the cast is great as well. Boyd Holbrook plays a great villain, Stephen Merchant is really good as Caliban, and Richard E. Grant was pretty good as Dr. Rice. Now, let's talk about the tone of the film, because this is a very, very dark film. This is maybe the darkest superhero movie I've seen since Watchmen. It's about characters that used to be in their prime, now far past their prime, just struggling to get through life and whatever life throws at them. And the thing about seeing these characters so broken down, like when Logan is kind of caring for Charles at the start, if you're just going into this movie fresh, yeah, it's still sad and you get where these characters are. But if you go into this movie an X-Men fan, like I did, and you've seen these characters on adventures and you've seen them be proud and stoic, this was really heartbreaking just from the get-go. I remember the teaser trailer for X-Men First Class said something like, before he was Professor X, he was Charles, before he was Magneto, he was Eric, and all that. Well, I think that really applies here, only it's after he was Professor X, he was Charles. It's even reflected in the title. He's not Wolverine, he's Logan. He's just an old, extremely broken down guy now who used to have these incredible gifts and adventures, and now is just kind of trying to make his way. This is one of the few superhero movies where the best part is not the amazing action and visual effects and all that, which we'll get to that because those are great as well, but actually the characters and their drama is the most compelling part of this, which is surprising for a Wolverine film. It's weird to think that the guy who made The Wolverine, which is a fun but very standard superhero action movie, made this, which is one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen, in large part because it's barely a superhero movie. It uses the superhero movie genre as a framework to tell the story about these three characters and their journey. These characters, Logan and Charles, grow more in this movie alone than maybe they've done over the course of the entire series. Now, on that dark tone note, this film is the first X-Men film, if you don't count Deadpool, to be R-rated. And yeah, it definitely earns that rating. The action here is extremely violent. There's blood everywhere, there are limbs flying off left and right, a lot of people getting their heads just stabbed right through. All the violence and action you've seen in the trailer is just the tip of the iceberg, trust me. Quick side note, I also gotta commend the trailers for not giving away a lot of this film. But yeah, the action in this is amazing. It's very brutal, it's as grounded as you can get with a character like Wolverine, it feels very real, but it's also very entertaining to watch. Great stuff all around. There's also a ton of cursing, like Logan says the F word about 20 times in the first 10 minutes. There isn't really any nudity, except for like 5 seconds. But trust me, this movie gets its R rating from the violence. The visual effects are also pretty great. Normally these X-Men films sometimes have some questionable CGI effects, but because this movie is so much more grounded, the effects they do have are actually really great. James Mangold did an excellent job writing and directing this film. It's a really well shot film. The pacing for the most part is great. It's much slower than your normal superhero movie, but that totally works here. Like I kinda touched on earlier, this is another perfect example of doing something new in the superhero genre to make it feel fresh again. Because this really isn't a superhero film. It has superheroes in it, but it's a really compelling character drama with some awesome action and superpowered characters. This movie is also really emotional, and I'm gonna leave it at that for now because we'll get more into that in the spoiler section. But I would definitely describe this film as 100% emotionally satisfying. It's really powerful in a lot of parts. And I do want to say, although I've talked a lot about how dark and emotionally wrecking this is and all that, which it is, there are still some fun moments. There are quite a few funny lines and good, lighthearted moments of levity that kind of break it up a bit. As far as what I didn't like here, pretty much nothing. Occasionally, I didn't love the music, like not often, but I remember in a specific intense moment in an action scene, the music sort of took me out of it. The movie also does slow down a little in the second act, but all that stuff is building the characters of Logan and Laura and their relationship, and I was still entertained, so I didn't really mind it. Really, that's all I can think of to complain about. This movie is fantastic. So, before I get into the spoilers, I'm just gonna wrap this up. Logan is an incredible film. I'm not even going to say incredible superhero film, because while it is that, it's just a really great movie on its own. It's a brutal, emotional, beautiful send-off to one of my favorite characters of all time, and I'll give Logan a 9.8 out of 10. Alright, now, spoilers. If you don't want anything spoiled, click away from this video now. You have been warned. Alright, still here? Let's do this. Firstly, how this film ties into the larger X-Men universe, which it really doesn't, but when it does it in a very interesting way. Now, all the mutants are gone, and the X-Men are kind of legendary celebrities, and I thought that was really interesting. I guess this takes place in the new and improved Days of Future Past timeline, but they also mention the Statue of Liberty, so I don't really know how that fits in. Really though, none of the X-Men films are very concerned with the timeline continuity, and this one certainly isn't and doesn't have to be. As far as the new Young Mutants go in this film, I didn't love them. They certainly weren't bad and could have been way worse, but I don't know. Just didn't love that part of the story as much as the rest of it. The X-24 clone of Wolverine, that was a bit of a surprise to me, but it worked. It was a cool villain for Wolverine to face, himself, as we've seen before actually, just a tad less brutal. And I guess I gotta talk about the deaths here. First, there was the death of Charles Xavier, which was sad, yeah, but I didn't really have time to get emotional about it, because it happened so suddenly. That was the point though, it was meant to shock you. But then there was the death of Wolverine, and yeah, that was pretty emotional. When I said this movie is very emotionally satisfying, this is what I'm talking about. After all these years, this was an extremely satisfying way to see this character go out. I didn't really cry in this film. I teared up a little, but didn't full on cry, which was a little surprising to me, since, as my friends have told me, I'm a movie crybaby. But at the end, when Logan is dying, and he says something like, "So that's what it feels like," that was the perfect way to close this character's journey. And it really hit me emotionally. A touching send-off to, again, not just one of my favorite superheroes, but just one of my favorite characters of all time. So those were my thoughts on Logan. What do you think of this? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.